Hi guys, this is Robin Goff here. Today I'm going to be introducing my plant hanger tutorial. It's the first plant hanger tutorial I've ever done. This is my third DIY macrame tutorial and hopefully you guys are going to love it. The knots that I'm demonstrating today in this hanger are beginner to intermediate. There aren't many knots involved, so you just repeat the same process over and over again. I say beginner to intermediate because it can be a little bit confusing when you first start off doing these knots, but as long as you repeat the same process over and over and over again and just trust in that process, listen carefully to my instructions, you should be able to make a beautiful hanger too. So, just a little bit about me quickly. I am Robin Goff, I'm 27 and I live in Bournemouth. This is the basis of my macrame shop at the moment. I sell on Etsy. My shop is called Macrame UK. I'm trying to raise the profile of macrame here in the United Kingdom. It's pretty rainy out, so hopefully you guys can see me properly. Today, to make this hanging, I've used some of my own cord. It's the pink one. It's 5mm Macrame UK. It's super soft cord. It's cotton, it's soft, it's awesome, and you can get at least 2 hangings out of this based on these measurements, so it's good value for money as well, so check it out on my shop please. So, this is a finished version of the hanger. Hangers can be a little bit confusing to look at for a consumer or for somebody that's never used one before, because when they are not full of a plant, they are, as you can see, almost like a big, long, flat pile of cotton. So just so that you understand what we're going to do, we are going to make 3 arms for this hanger. We're going to attach them to a 7cm wooden ring. I've actually recycled these rings. These were a gift from my boyfriend's mum. They are curtain wooden rings. I don't know what sort of wood they are. They're just 7cm in diameter. We're going to be using the 5mm cord, and we're going to produce a knot here to attach it, a new knot here to connect them all together. We're going to do a certain set of knots here. We're going to make adjustments to those knots at the bottom for something to hang the plant in, and we're going to finish with the same knot again at the bottom and chop the ends off. Okay, so I wanted to get straight to the point with this hanger, but first of all, just a useful tip on how to measure and cut the cord. For this hanger, you are going to need 6 of these measurements done out. These cord I'm going to cut at about 5 meters. I say about 5 meters because I actually use my arm, my forearm, as a unit of measure. So I'm just going to demonstrate that to you. You can literally, the other thing worth noting is this is how much cord I had left over after I made 2 hangings from 1 reel of cotton. So just so you can see, it's pretty good value for money. So I'm just going to drop this on the floor and let it sort of roll away across the room to demonstrate. So an easy way to measure out the 5 meters is to hold the cord in your hand between your finger and your thumb, and we're going to wrap it around the elbow 8 times. So when I get to here, I'm going to hold on to it and count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And when I get to the 8th point, I just take it off my arm like that. I take hold of my super sharp scissors. These are worth having if you're going to be making a lot of macrame. And it's important to sort of note this as well. I've got both ends here, hopefully you can see that. If I just grab onto them and drop the rest of the rope, I can easily just pull my fingers through it and have a nearly tangle-free end to the middle. It's useful to know where the middle is because when we get our wooden ring out, we're going to be doing a lark's head knot over it, which you'll be able to see in a minute. But I just thought I'd demonstrate that to you. So this works out at about 2.5 meters in length when it's folded over. That's 5 meters roughly altogether, but what I prefer to say is 8 loops around the arm. That gives you lots of cord left over. So the hanger itself is about 80 centimeters in total to the knot that holds the bottom. How long you choose to cut the bottom is up to you, but as you can see I had plenty of left over, so you want to make a really long one, you can. You want to make it a bit shorter, you can definitely get away with 7 wraps around the arm, maybe 6. That would be fine. So let's get straight to the actual how-to. I've recorded this how-to flat on this desk behind me. Normally I recommend standing up and doing things with a clothes rail, it's a lot easier, but to try and demonstrate every single element of the process to you, it's a little bit better for video, I think, for it to be flat. Hopefully you understand and love this video. Thanks. Okay guys, so here we go. This is how I make this plant hanger. This plant hanger, as I said before, is a beginner plant hanger. It only requires 3 knots really, 2 main knots, and then a knot used to attach onto here, which is a basic lark's head knot. So as you can see here, this is my 7cm diameter ring. I'm using the 5mm Macrame UK cord, which you can get from my Etsy shop, and I have used the 5 meters of that cord, folded in half, and attached it onto this wooden ring. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here at the moment. Here is the 6th one, and a lark's head knot is done by going under the ring with the loop, putting your index finger and your thumb through it, grabbing the tail and pulling it all the way through to the end. You let it go and pull it tight. So now we have all of the cords that we need attached to our ring. But as you guys can probably see, it's kind of flat, and this plant hanger has 3 arms to it. So what we're going to need to do is bunch them together using another cord so that they sit circularly, and then we can pull the arms apart and it won't sit flat anymore. So to do that, I have another little piece of cord here. I can't remember what length it is. It isn't particularly long. It doesn't matter because we're going to be chopping it off anyway. But the way that we secure this cord is by taking an end of it, making a loop, and making sure that there's a bit of an end at the top. And we sort of hold it in our hands like this, but also with all of the other cords. So I'm going to use my thumb now, place my hands near the top where I want this to sit, and then I'm going to take the tail and I'm going to start, actually I'm going to swap hands, wrapping it round. I'm looking for, I think, 8 wraps on here. So if I call that 1, trying to hold everything in place still. You can see this is still here. So that's definitely 1. Go again and swap my hands over again. This bit is just a little bit awkward. So we'll call that 2, pull it tight. That's my 3rd. Then go for my 4th. And we'll go for 1 more. That's 8. Now if we bring this tail round to the front, pick up our loop that we've got dangling out of the bottom, like so, and then we're going to use this string to capture it and pull it in nice and tight, but not all the way through. That's really important. You can sort of wiggle it down a bit, like so. Make sure that everything looks nice still. Some of these have got a bit tangled up, I can see. So if I just go through, there we go, and pull all of my other cords so that they now look nice and tight. So that's a pretty rough way of how to secure them. You don't need this string, you can literally just cut it off. This will be completely stable. You do need to cut the bottom part off too. Now, so I'm quite happy with that. This looks quite nice at the top. You can take a bit more time adjusting it, but I'm not going to. But that is how you secure the top of your plant hanger. You can do that on any plant hangers. Most plant hangers start like this, and then we're going to work moving the cords away in different directions to make the arms of the hanger. Okay, so for the next part of the tutorial I'm going to show you the knots I use to make the arms. They can be a little bit confusing to start with, so I'm going to try and be as clear as possible and use the zoom on my camera. Basically we're going to, let me get this right, we're going to wrap the inside arms around the outside arms. So to do that you need to bring the inside arm under, and we're going to literally just twist it over our finger. This is called a half hitch normally. Just pull that through, and we're going to do it 3 times for each one. So that's 1, 2, and a third. Like so. And then we're going to do the inside knot wrapped around the outside again. So on this side I mirror my actions, so the bottom one is underneath and it goes over. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Like so. And we're going to twist them round and make sure that the string that's had the, here we go, the string that's had the knots tied onto them, like this, you can examine it and take a look. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to keep that in the middle, and we're just going to put a single twist in there for those as well. So at the moment, like I said, it's a little bit difficult to see, but it kind of makes a loose circle. So again, I'm going to repeat that process. As I said, it's the inside ones that are wrapping around the outside ones. So with that in mind, the inside one stays underneath, and I just knock it over my fingers, pull all of that lovely cord through, and go 1, 2, and then do it again. Normally when I make plant hangers, I do it on a clothes hanger, but I can't do that when I'm demonstrating it on a video because I think this is a better way to see it. So this was the inside cord, and the inside cord is going to wrap around the outside cord, so it needs to go underneath. Again, it can be a little bit confusing. This is why I'm trying to do it nice and slow for you guys. 1, do it 3 times, 2, 3, and then if you find the cord that had the wrapping done around it, give them a bit of a pull, look carefully at them. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to tie these together in the middle with just a single twist. Like so. And it's starting to make a bit more sense now. As you can see, it's made a loop. So again, keeping our inside cords wrapping around our outside cords by keeping them underneath first. One, 2, 3. Inside cord going around the outside cord, so the inside cord needs to go under first. 1. Oh, dearie me. It is difficult to display it like this, but hopefully you guys will get it. More than happy to take questions on it. It's much more obvious demonstrating half hitches in my other tutorials actually. So if you want to go and check them out, please do. So you can look now and see carefully that there's 1, 2, 3 on that cord. And was there 3 on this cord? There's 1, there's 2, there's the third. So we're just going to put that twist in the middle of the cords that have taken the knots onto them. and we've made another loop. These loops are quite nice because they sort of stretch when the plant is on the hanger, so you should be able to see. Okay, I'm going to do a few more to give you guys a better idea. I'm just going to do a bit more zooming in as well to see if I can display it a bit better for you. Okay, so just bear with me. So once again, nice and slow. The inside cord is going to be wrapped around the outside cord. So I do that by putting my finger in and just putting it over my finger and then taking this all the way through underneath. So I'm left like that. Again, the inside cord is wrapping around the outside cord, so I do it in the opposite direction for this side. So this cord goes under and then over my finger and pulled through the loop. I pull them out a bit. I get the cord that's had the knots tied round it into the middle. Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is great. And then here I just twist, do it again basically, just put my finger in, put the right cord under my finger, pull it over the top and pull it through. But I literally just do that once. If you do it more than once, it will change the shape of the pattern of the knots. So if you want circles like what I'm going to end up with, you've only got to do that last one just that once. Okay, hope that makes sense for you guys. I'm now going to repeat this until there are 14 of them. So I'm going to turn the camera off and show you when they're done. Hey, okay, so I'm back. I've finished off all of these. I just thought it might be worth saying that the first knot I tend to do a little bit looser. The middle knot I tend to do a little bit tighter, and the bottom knot I do quite loose, and this twist is quite loose as well. So when you're finished, it might look a bit of a jumbled mess, but what I find is if you give it a pull, it's very stretchy, it stretches it all out, and then if you just go through and actually try and arrange your knots into all of the same place, you know, fiddle around with them a little bit, they all end up being, you know, a bit more consistent basically. You just need to go through and give them a tug. So obviously that was the first arm. Oh, it's worth pointing out that I have only put a twist in the bottom of this, so don't pull this one, otherwise it will just come undone. So that's how you do one arm. I'm now going to repeat the same process and do 14 knots. 14 knots actually makes about a 30cm arm. So you guys need to think about how long you want your hanger to be. There will be excess rope with the measurements that I gave, the 5 metre cuts of each cord, for you to do it a little bit longer. I probably would be surprised if you fit another, I don't know, say 8 of these in and then it doesn't get a little bit short towards the end. But the main thing is now that you've mastered this knot, you need to repeat it. You're going to repeat it on this arm here and this arm here, which I'm going to do and fast forward for you so you can see me in the process. We are going to be using this knot again. We're going to be using it, but we're going to be adding a few more to it to make a gradiented part for the plant pot to actually sit in. So hopefully that makes sense, and it was just so that you guys could see it up close and see that even though it might have looked a bit messy when I was finished, as long as you go through, put your fingers through it and make the adjustments, it actually is a pretty, although it can be confusing, beautiful combination of knots. Okay, so hopefully you guys will be able to see that I have done 14 of these combinations all the way down to here. Now I'm going to introduce you to my little friend. This is Planty, and this is his plant pot. And luckily for me, Planty comes with a little dish that the pot sits in. It does actually say, take me home on the side of this pot, so if I just get rid of some of the soil. Now, the reason why it is useful to do it in a pot like this that has a bottom dish is because you can sort of get a sense of perspective on how these are going to lay, so that you can connect the right chords to each other in the correct way. Is that the right way to say that? Yeah, probably. So I can see that these chords will lay at this angle, so it's definitely going to be these ones, and this one, and this one that I'm going to tie together. Now, if I take that away, and I do a bit of a shuffle with all of this and bring it all up here out of the way so we can sort of see what's going on. Now that I've agreed that with myself, you're going to want to leave a bit of space actually. Now, what you kind of want is for this to end, for there to be a bit of space for your plant. So I'm going to say 4 fingers width. And then maybe that's to about there, and maybe add 2, or shall I say 3 more fingers. So what was that? That was 4 fingers to about there, plus 3 more fingers. Yeah. So what we're going to do here, let me just pull that back up again for you guys, is with these ones which I've identified to be at the right angle for each other, I'm just going to tie a square knot. Hopefully you've all seen a square knot before, but I went 4 fingers plus 3 fingers, so I'm going to tie it here. It doesn't matter too much exactly where you tie it, the plant hanger will still work perfectly. Okay, so square knot is using 4 chords. This is demonstrated in my other videos as well. I'm going to try and do it quite obviously for you. So the outside chord on this side, you need to pinch it to the other 2 using your thumb. This chord here needs to go over the tail, and then I like to switch fingers and pinch them all together, and then I'm going to tuck that one under and pull it out over here at this angle. That's one side of the square knot, so it creates a twist, and then you've got to do it in the opposite direction. So that's this way, so we're going to take this one, pinch it to here, we're going to bring this over that side and then pull it under. Now I wanted it a certain distance away. I'm going to estimate it about that, like so. Hopefully y'all can see that. If I get my tape out, I can tell you exactly how far I've done that. So the tape says that it is, oh, that's the wrong end of the tape. Should have been more prepared for this part of the video. So I'm going with about 6 inches down, which is about 15 centimetres. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing again now to connect the other strings together. So that's that. That's great. Now this one, this side, I'm going to get my pot out again so I can see it. So if I imagine that's that lying flat, I definitely know it's going to be these chords. And then if this one lies flat, then I definitely know it's going to be these chords, which is great. And then I can tie them together at about the same distance down. Let me just move this out for you guys so that you can see exactly what's going on a bit better. So yeah, if I tie it about the same distance down, trying to keep it flat, that is a square knot. That's as if you've never seen a square knot before. Welcome to square knots. I've done a really slow motion video on how to do them, so if you need to go and see that again and this wasn't clear enough, please go and check it out. It is a pretty major knot in macrame, and it's useful because it will take the brunt of the pressure of the pot. It's a very, very useful knot, basically. it's the only time really that it's going to feature is when we're holding these pots together. So let me do it again. The last cords to connect will be these ones round here. That should make perfect sense if I just twist it all round a little bit so it's easier for you all to see. So to carry on then, we've got our 3 square knots that are going to form a net. So in order to make sure that things aren't too confusing, to demonstrate the next bit, I'm just going to cover these ones over, because it's really important that you do these things the right way around what we're about to do. So we're going to carry on. We're going to make another of the same knots that we had before. Hopefully you all can see that. So we're going to do the same. We're going to pick the outside knot and we're going to do the half hitch 3 times on this cord. 2, 3, and the same again. Always wrapping the outside cord around always wrapping the inside cord around the outside cord, should I say, like so. So that was 3. Then we're going to put a single twist in the middle. Great. So now we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to do 5 on each side. So always wrapping the inside cord around the outside cord. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Same again, inside cord around the outside cord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to put a twist in the middle, like so. So as you can see, that makes a bigger hoop or circle. And for the last one, we're going to do the same again, but we're going to do 7. So always the inside one, wrapping around the outside one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th. Great, perfect. And once more on this side, but 7 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a single twist in the middle, which, as you can now see, makes a beautiful little graduated circular pattern. Now we're going to repeat this 3 times on each one, making sure that we take into consideration the circular nature of the pot. So the next one I'm going to do will be on this side, so I'll make sure I do it the right way around, and the other one will be facing the back, so I'll do it that way around. Hopefully you guys were able to do that easily enough. So it's just a reminder that it is 3, 5 and 7 on here, and just a single twist in the bottom. Now obviously this is kind of in the form of a triangle, so again I'm just going to get my little pot out to help you guys imagine how it's going to go. So the last thing we're going to do is tie some more square knots across here. If you imagine that really you're going to want these to be going up the side of your plant pot, or if you want them to be right at the base of your plant pot, that's going to dictate how long you leave space between them. So if we imagine that I want these nearly at the bottom of my plant pot, I'm going to need to tie my knot about there. So always get your pot out and give it a bit of a measure, see if you can figure it out for yourselves. So that to me is 4 fingers worth, and it's definitely those 2 cords that I need to tie together there. So one more square knot. So now I know that those are connected. I'm going to do it again over here. Put this in, imagine that about the bottom of my pot, and this side about the bottom of my pot there. Pull them together about like so. Hope you can, see that. So yes, I'm going to repeat that here. So to tie the last one, we've got to flip it all over effectively, and imagine that that is the outside of the pot, and to tie those last ones together in a way where you can see it there. Always recommend doing macrame actually standing up. This is not the best way to do it. So I'm going to tie my square knot there, and then I'm going to put the base of my pot in, and we're going to tie our last knot, which I'll show you in a second. Right, so for our last knot, guys, we've got our full net going on here. I'm just going to measure again all 4 fingers worth, and we're going to put in what we had at the very, very top by the ring. I can't remember what it's called, sorry. And we're going to do it the same way. So we're going to create a loop. So we're just going to tie the last bit at the bottom, which will support the weight of the plant. So to do that, we're going to do the same as what was at the top and leave a tassel up by the ring. So I've just got a piece of cord, again just a random length that I've cut, but just enough to create a loop. And I'm going to place it hopefully about 4 fingers down. So I'm going to hold my loop there and imagine where the bottom of those wraparounds are going to be. Approximately, yeah, that looks about right. So I'm going to go for 8 of these again. 7, 8, yeah, perfect. And then I'm going to put the tail of it after I've held it tight through the loop, like so. And then I'm going to go back up here and pull the end and pull it inside that wrap up. Make sure that there are a few cords at least over that loopage. So that feels pretty good. Get the scissors, chop that end off. Doesn't really matter about the other end. So now if I if I pull it all apart a little bit, hopefully you can see how it's going to hang. Woo! Right, if I get plenty involved, you'll be able to see. Cool, great. That's perfect. So that's the technique part. I'm going to go and take this outside. Hopefully if it's stopped raining, it's not very sunny here in Bournemouth today, and hopefully you guys will be able to see the full effect when it's done. Cool. Okay guys, so I'm just out in the garden with a finished piece and a different pot. So as you can see, I've had a nifty little hanger put in place for me, which is cool. And here is the hanger in a slimmer pot. So this is like a much slimmer bottom. So I just thought I'd offer a little bit of advice. If you are dealing with a pot that is smaller than my terracotta pot, which is just over here at the moment, then it's worth just leaving smaller distances between the knots that you tie at the bottom. I would go with maybe just like 2 or 3 fingers worth. So it's just for you to consider when you're making it. Look at your actual pot, and so you guys have got a good idea about where this should be, because to me, for it to look beautiful, it would really need to be down here a little bit more. So in which case these would be a lot shorter, or the bottom knot could be tied a lot tighter just to bring it all up. So yes, that was just to give you an idea of how it can look on a different pot. Okay, so here is excuse me, the finished part of the actual piece that I made. I'm thinking again that maybe these knots could have been just a little bit shorter, or if this was just tied a little bit higher, it would be nicer. If I pinch it like that, you can see. So maybe when you guys are making it, just consider making the bottom knot a little bit closer to these knots here. But hopefully you can appreciate the design nicely. It's always okay to go back and just mess with these circles a little bit. And if we look up, these are still looking pretty gorgeous. They take the tension well. So yeah, it's nice hanging. I just wanted to, sorry I'm losing my voice, something terrible today. I just wanted to say thank you as well. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed to my last 2 videos. Obviously I am new to YouTube and making videos, but I'm hoping that this one is a little bit better and a little bit easier for you all to understand. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making more of these. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've got any problems with the lengths, anything like that, please just let me know. I'm trying to make these videos for you. I already know how to do this stuff. But yeah, I just want you guys to be able to take this pattern forwards, maybe add your own flair to it. Please, please, please share them with me as well on Instagram. My name is Robin_Goff, and I have been literally blown away from people tagging me and sharing their patterns that they've made previously with me. It's really cool to connect with everybody out there on YouTube, and I know that you guys want to see more, so it makes it worthwhile me spending the whole day basically recording this video and the whole of the last 2 days designing this pattern for you. So yeah, also if you want this cord, obviously I do sell it. It is my favourite. This is my 5mm cord. I mentioned it before. It's the Macrame UK super soft 5mm cord, natural in colour. It's really lovely to work with. Gives you a really chunky, secure hanging. And yeah, just thanks very much.